By fall 2001, the second Sony-created video game system had been available to purchase in North America for over a year. Though the hardware was there, the PS2 really didn't get that system seller game until the release of Grand Theft Auto 3, a revolutionary open-world sandbox experience unlike anything seen before it, including Sega's Shenmue. A year later, in 3's neon-drenched sequel set in the 1980s, Grand Theft Auto Vice City broke even more records while garnering praise from journalists and gamers alike. 2004 saw the GTA franchise become a true juggernaut with the release of the sprawling Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, a game featuring 3 cities based off of Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Las Vegas. I found myself in the heart of these initial releases during my high school years, going out of my way to buy ports on the Xbox 360 years later, with San Andreas becoming one of my favorite games of all time. So when it was announced a collection of all 3 classic PS2 games would be available on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch, I found myself excited like it was 2001 all over again, until the release date was given. With the holiday season near, a $60 price tag attached to 17 to 20-year-old games seemed absurd. Then the reviews arrived, and I felt justified about waiting. Thanks to multiple sales, an opportunity arose to pick up the disc version at less than half price brand new. I popped the disc into my PlayStation 5, downloaded the patches, and got ready to potentially relive my teenage years in grand fashion, or be left saying, "Look what they did to my little boy." Though the PS2 GTA games were staples of my love during the early 2000s, none found their way to being completed in any way, shape, or form. Each GTA game during the era and beyond featured a criteria of things to do, including collecting hidden packages, finishing city races, and pulling off some big jumps to reach 100% completion. That personal disappointment of not completing a GTA changed with the Definitive Edition. Thanks to both the expansion of information at my fingertips courtesy of the internet, as well as a knowledge of what was mostly to come in regards to missions and general gameplay, having gone through all 3 stories multiple times. In a little over 20 hours respectively, I attained 100% completion in Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City. San Andreas, as expected, took twice as long to reach the necessary 100% completion, providing this old school buster a chance to earn 3 new platinum trophies. When the Definitive Edition's reviews started pouring in, players responded in disgust. Grove Street Studios, the game designers behind the mildly received GTA PS2 Trilogy mobile ports, were given the task to do the potentially impossible by updating 3-generation-old games for modern-day players. One of the key differences between the original version and the TDE is the addition of a weapon wheel a la Grand Theft Auto 5. With the touch of a button, players can pull up the weapon wheel at any time, slowing down everything so the player has the ability to choose the instrument of destruction. The option to not simply scroll through the available weapons in the protagonist's inventory and easily pull out a pistol, shotgun, or Molotov during a firefight adds a level of player friendliness the original versions lacked, even during a time when it wasn't a gameplay norm. Implemented in Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City, but seen in San Andreas, is a hard lock-on system when shooting. Similar to the weapon wheel, having a lock-on system is mostly a wonderful addition to complement the free aim option. The reason mostly must be used when addressing the lock-on system is due to an issue that goes across all 3 games, where the reticle will target a non-adversary like a civilian NPC driving by having a shootout in the streets of Los Santos, or refusing to stop marking a dead body, forcing the player to manually change the target when the protagonist is filling a corpse full of lead. Not changed is the enemy AI. The adversarial AI may actually be dumber in these versions compared to the original iterations. Either the enemy AI will have sharpshooter-like accuracy across all 3 games, or stand motionless even during a firefight, awaiting inevitable death. In an effort to help players avoid having to do extensive traveling or pay for a mistake that may have not been their fault, a mission checkpoint system has been added that usually allows gamers to immediately restart a mission from the beginning, or, in the case of some of San Andreas' more lengthy escapades, midway through a mission. Driving is mostly the same with its arcade nature at times. San Andreas featuring arguably the trilogy's best physics both on land and in the air. Issues such as ambulances easily rolling over in Grand Theft Auto 3 and sports cars somehow compressing into the ground when driving on the relatively flat surfaces of Vice City still exist from the original versions. The plethora of options when trying to make money or create mayhem are still intact, though utilizing cheats does disable trophies and achievements. The mild RPG elements and customization options in San Andreas reinforces why it is such a testament to then modern gaming, beyond the environmental scope. Technically, even after several patches, the Definitive Edition suffers in a plethora of strange ways. Across all three games, graphical glitches including insane car flips when hitting another vehicle, characters getting stuck in the road, and cars floating overhead are the norm. Pop-in is a big problem, especially in San Andreas. As expected considering how big the game is compared to its predecessors, San Andreas has the most stability issues, though Vice City has a nasty habit of crashing during vigilante missions. One of the biggest problems associated with San Andreas has to be the elevator glitch that causes the game to crash during the dramatic break in the bank at Caligula's mission. By using the elevator without CJ wearing the night vision goggles, the game crashes while auto-saving, creating a permanent loop of failed continuations if the player doesn't have multiple saves to learn from a mistake that gives no indication as to why it's happening. Frame rate drops are a problem mostly in Vice City and San Andreas, but the games run a lot smoother than their PS2 counterparts, as they should. On the positive side in regards to technical performance is how good the environments look, with great reflections off cars and windows, as well as better resolution when it comes to buildings and signs. The same can't be stated about the character designs, as a majority look like something from MTV's Celebrity Deathmatch, while sporting terrible lip syncing. The character audio, including NPC chatter, is still as it was all those years ago, though the sound quality in certain scenes fluctuate randomly and even goes out of sync with the character models. Music is a big part of the GTA experience, with Vice City and San Andreas having arguably two of the best game soundtracks of all time. Sadly, due to licensing issues, a good amount of very important songs were removed. It doesn't feel the same not hearing Michael Jackson's Billie Jean coming out of the radio when Tommy Vercetti enters his first vehicle in Vice City, or Killing in the Name by Rage Against the Machine emphasizing a date gone wrong for CJ in San Andreas. Thankfully, a majority of the tunes and all of the talk radio shows are still there to enjoy when moving throughout each game. Even without the technical issues that turned the fan base against it at launch, there's no denying that the Definitive Edition is an acquired taste that may have gamers who weren't around in the early 2000s unable to appreciate these games for what they once were. Even most gamers who love the original versions will walk away from the Definitive Edition feeling like their cherished experience of days gone by have been tarnished almost 2 decades later. Other than the gunplay improvements, those said improvements can be finicky in execution and better environmental and vehicle graphics. Most of everything in the Definitive Edition is no different or better than the original PS2 versions. There's no way this collection is worth $60, and if you're an old school GTA gamer, it may be best to avoid this version to retain the cherished memories of so many years ago. The Definitive Edition would also be a pretty rough starting point for gamers who haven't played the 3, as it will leave someone questioning what made the series so special. But if you do take the plunge, make sure you check your beeper beforehand. Have a hefty supply of Hawaiian shirts, and don't be ashamed of gorging yourself on Burger Shot.
I know a real important man in town, a soft touch with, shall we say, exotic tastes and the money to indulge them.
That I'm going out there, sticking my head out the door. No way,
I
not
told
gonna
you,
happen.
shut up. I'll go myself.
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, I like 1978 too, but you know, this isn't gonna be a beer and strippers do. I mean, no offense, but I think that you might turn heads on the runway for the wrong reasons.
What's wrong with the way I'm dressed?
Okay, look, here, stop by Raphael's. Tell him I sent you. He'll make you look respectable. Okay, go, come on.
Who does that guy think he is? Now I gotta dress like a chump as well as hang out with them? I like this shirt.
Give me a number 9, just like his.
Let me get a number 6 with extra dip.
I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, a number 7, 2 number 45s, 1 with cheese, and a large soda.